Check 1, 2. Oh.
Fine.
Yeah, all right. Oh my goodness. I'm excited for today. I'm not sure I'm ready. Woo. My goodness, so many chatters over on YouTube. I got a pleasant mix of folks over on Twitch. Oh, so delightful. Welcome, everybody. We're still getting settled in. Make yourselves at home. Should be a good time today. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I am not taking an ice bath. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Believe it? Oh, what a week. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a moment. 1 second, guys, 1 second. You know, honestly, I feel like the best way to open the stream is starting off with a trailer. Right? Right? I agree. Yeah, of course. Of course. I love that trailer a lot. It's a very pleasant trailer. It's the same one that we showed last Friday, but still, it's a good trailer. For any of those who missed it, now you get to see it. Boom! We are still amid the experimental branch, and we'll be closing up soon on that front. By the way, hi, welcome to the official ROCKFISH Games stream. I am your host, Eric Schrader, the community ambassador for ROCKFISH Games. All things EVERSPACE 2 related, I will be talking about today, whether it's little bits of new content, whether it's upcoming content, whether it's attempting to do really crazy things. It's gonna happen right here, and it's gonna be a good time. At least I certainly hope so. And I'm excited for you being on this journey with me, with us, as we crack into this. So we have a number of things that we're gonna be talking about, that we're gonna be discussing in today's stream. The first thing that we're gonna jump into are showing some new assets that have been getting worked in, and one of which is for the bomber. I think the experimental has access to it, but the other one is for the gunship, and it's gonna be fun highlighting what these new looks are. In addition, we are going to be looking at some adjustments we made to some secondary weapons. All right, some tweaks, some modifications here and there, helping some shine a little bit more than they previously were, since we noticed a couple of gaps in the balancing department on that front. Then we're also going to be attempting a Lunacy 1000 Rift run, which I've been practicing for, and I'm not sure I'm ready, but we're gonna try. It is going to be using a community build that you guys are familiar with called the Blastmaster from Wizard Jerry. It's been optimized a bit further. We're gonna test it out. Then, in addition to that, man, what else do we got going on? I know we're gonna be doing screenshots near the end. Also, we're gonna do a job, one of the new job chains that's been added. It's a side mission, I should say, but it has new jobs in it for the Kato clan. So whenever you go to Kato Palace, there's a new job chain there. We're gonna show that off a little bit. And through the course of these streams, at any point in time, you've got a question about anything that's coming out of my mouth, you have any concerns, you have any whatever, ask. Just shoot a little question into the chat. Geekbite, who is our moderator in the chat, he's also gonna be grabbing those questions, writing up a little list, and at certain intervals during the course of the stream, we will then be answering them, as many as we can, in fact. So don't be shy, ask your questions, and we will help refine that. I know that there have already been a number of details pertaining to the massive level progression adjustments on that front. All the conversation around that's been incredibly positive thus far, but if you do have more questions on that, feel free to ask. I could probably even pull up some examples. Now, without further ado, let's show some new content, yeah? Let's show some new content. So I'm gonna start off by pulling this save. And this is in the midst of doing a new job called Hitman, but we need to pick a new ship first. We need to pick a new ship. So here we go. Let's get into this. Let's get into this.
Okay, here we are. Hive, mark the potential targets.
It is already done. Close in on them to start the scanning process.
All right, so this new Hitman job, this is available from specific locations, one of which is Kato Palace, where you have to scan these targets and figure out which one is not the good guy. But we need a better ship to do this because our scout's beat up. It's not looking so great. We need to replace this. So let's head on over to the ship dealer here, where we have a nice selection of ships. Oh my goodness, I love the tier 3 Stinger. The Hornet, specifically the Hornet wings. Big fan of it. But now down here, we've got these two new named ships, and that's what we really want to dive in here. So first we have this Titan bomber. Look at those wings. Look, they don't even fit on the screen. It is this guy is wide. And he packs a serious punch too, with all the barrage of secondary equipment. I have been practicing a little bit with my hand at using bombers, and those secondary weapons, seriously, it's insane. This ship might be too good. In fact, we need to nerf it all. Just we're scaling it back. All of it's scaled back. Not really. It's fantastic. Feels really great to use when it all comes together. But I think the big one, the one that none of you have seen yet, is the Gunship, the Dominator wings. I'm gonna choose this ship, and I wanna show you a bit more on these wings. What's crazy about this is that now the Gunship actually has form. It's got these beautiful curves, organic structures and lines cutting across it instead of that boxy shape from the original Gunship style. And pulling this out, let's see, first let's check the passives. Pulse laser turret, turret also attack mine, 30% bonus against drones. Let's see what else we have. Reduce hull and armor repair costs, bonus damage against drones, and increase boost speed. I'll take that one. So we're gonna pick up this Dominator. Just buy and sell current. Was that Wing 2 in concept art? I see as a quick question. I have no idea. I don't keep the concept art orders and numbers in my brain. I feel like I would just explode. Probably. But okay, so now we've got this Dominator gunship, And I wanna just color it up a little bit further because we can see, ooh, I kinda like that. Some of our, you know what, let's go with this. This is the same color of our scout. Just highlight all those nooks and crannies by using this green, orange, off-white sort of coloration and some neon green and yellow lights. I think that looks nice. We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that. Excellent. And for our inventory, we do need to adjust this because we're not gonna use a broken railgun on a gunship. Pfft, who does that? Let's see what we have. I did a couple of riffs and stuff on this save. But for our gunship, we could do a number of things. We could use these rapid thermo guns. That could be a lot of fun. Umbra actually got a boost to its damage in our pass just this week, so I believe this damage is larger than what you might be accustomed to from it. And do keep in mind that the damage still increases by 30% when you have this in its Eclipse set. But let's go ahead and set this rapid thermogun over here, just replacing that one outright. And for now, we'll just use this calibrated pulse laser. Oh, we got 2 thermoguns. Look at that. Look at that. We don't have a need for that one. Looks like we need to get more weaponry. That's what we need. So we'll do this calibrated Umbra, a thermogun, and a calibrated pulse laser. That's a lot of energy damage. But we do have these cruise missiles, which should pack an absolute crazy punch. And then we also have destabilizer missiles, which also, this should look a little bit different as well. Secondaries got a bit of a tweak. So we will be coming back to these, but in short, you can probably tell that the numbers have gone up and the amounts you can hold. So we will return to that. For now, the focal point is going to be on these wings. I want to show you the different tiers, the looks of the different tiers. And then we're going to complete this job for Kato. So lots of things happening all at once. All of the things happening in this moment. All right, so let's launch. Excellent. Oh my gosh, these wings, I feel like harken back to EVERSPACE 1 so well. Just the form that they provide, it makes me so happy. But let's show you what the different tiers look like through my dev cheats. So as you can see, this is the tier 3 variant. We're gonna go down to tier 1. Oh, look at this cute little engine. And all the nice little lights on the side, and you know, we only got like one little whatever that is. It's a shield pack, I don't know. And as you go up in tiers, of course, so do the details. Boop! This is the tier 2 stylization. Got more lights, got more everything's, honestly. And the engines also change back here too on the rear. Like if we go from this first one, there's not actually an extra booster in there. That is an engine. I can show you like this. So you see the engine's kind of lit up there. We change it forward, you can see the engine's lit up now in there. More engines for the gunship, right? And then finally that brings us to this tier 3, really maximizing the size and the scope that this vessel provides, giving it that added weight, extending the engines out. Look at this. Look at all this. 77. Beautiful. When looking at the 2 gunship wings, this is easily my favorite. But I don't normally fly heavy ships. I think you guys know that. Is it faster? I mean, technically I got the passive that allows 25% boost speed, so this one in particular is. But at this time, wing types don't affect the stats of the ship. And that's probably not gonna happen, just to kind of loop a potential question in there. At one point, we actually did want to do that. And when I say at one point, I'm talking like literal years ago. Then we had to make some decisions internally to figure out what would be best for the itemization and customization for the player. And turns out that wasn't it. Turns out that wasn't it. So, all right, so now we got this wonderful gunship. Feeling really good about this. Feeling really good about this. Now we're gonna complete this mission. It's Hitman mission by scanning these ships. Oh my gosh, come here. So you have to stay a little bit close to them and not be a doofus. There we go. Beautiful. That's not a match, so we have to go find the other ones. Let's just throw ourselves over there because it's more fun that way. All right, good, good, good.
Hey,
All right.
not so fast.
Whoop, whoop. Is it you? Is it you? Match! All right, here we go.
Tell Kato to go
It's done. Let's get out of here.
Killed him so fast.
I finished that task.
Couldn't even finish his dialogue. That's beautiful. Let's clear the rest of these guys out, though.
Won't get any easier with the upper on my tail.
Taking off the O car is probably not a good thing, but you know. All right, come on, give me that jump. Give me that jump. Quit hitting me. Quit hitting me.
It's me, Alec.
Thank you, Alec. I really appreciate that. Oh, what perfect timing. Oh my goodness. All right, so we're gonna head back over to Prescott to finalize this mission chain, because this actually goes into a side mission where we will just tackle the needs of our job here. So you'll also notice that every time like an unknown signal pops up, just ignore it, guys. Just ignore it. We have a little hiccup in the current dev build, which happens. You guys know this because we're working on the game. And sometimes when we pull little components out, it messes other things up. So yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Heading straight over Prescott Starbase, we're gonna conclude this Kato mission and see where it goes from here. Excellent. Hi, Alec, bye, Alec. Yeah, basically. All right, so we are heading right back over here. So talent acquisition, this mission chain that we are now a part of, this is one of 3 new side missions that has been incorporated into the update. So you have 3 new missions that progress various stories that you have accomplished, that you're going towards, all that fun stuff. So let's continue it here.
Welcome back, Mr. Rosnin. Mr. Kato would like a moment of your time, if you'll wait just a moment.
So long as I don't have to deal with that Jer.
Tell Uncle K. I've got it, Toots.
So I did some favors from the job board. What's next?
Hey, now, no need to get testy. I've good news for you. Mr. Kato is pleased with your recent work.
Good.
Why can't he tell me himself?
He doesn't have time to personally deal with every hotshot who floats our way, but he has asked for you to handle something that requires a little more discretion, and compensates correspondingly.
I'm listening.
A simple task. Retrieval of a valuable asset.
What is it?
Not it. She. Codename Clockwork, and the best damn safecracker in the business.
Okay, so when you say discretion, you obviously want this asset to remain on the hush.
Obviously. But we got word the Okar authorities are interested in her whereabouts. She poached from the wrong dirty aliens. She's been hiding out, but our sources say they're getting close.
Don't you have a way to warn her?
She shut down long-range comms to avoid detection.
I'm not so sure I want to start messing with the authorities.
It's an in-and-out job. If you're fast enough, you should get there before them. We need you because your ship ain't tied to our organization.
I hope I don't regret this. At the first sign of trouble, I'll bail.
It won't come to that. Like I said, in and out.
Man, Daryl's our favorite, isn't he? Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm loading ourselves up for this little mission chain, but clearly there's a thing happening. There's a thing, and it's happening. So let's go continue this mission chain.
Kato's minion is hardly a reliable source. You believe you can undertake this operation without the Okkar discovering you?
Like he said, in and out. Let's find this codename Clockwork and make the extraction.
All right. So as with each of our new side missions, we want to develop the world a bit further. We want to make sure that it's fun and functional, right? To everything that's kind of going on. And, yeah. It's kind of a bit of showing that. We're going to be flying a bit of the Gunship today. I hope you guys like the Gunship. Woo. Keep my hands off of that, I suppose. All right. Gunship equals king of the rifts. Yeah, the Gunship is very, very good at rifts. So is the bomber. A lot of heavies are. I've been practicing some Stinger builds for the rifts because I want to get some light ships in there and show that up, but it's hard. It's hard. All right, here we go.
Who would have thought? We're actually on time. No sign of the Ark.
Better make haste before the current state changes.
So I do want to mention this briefly because I imagine there's going to be questions about localization since all of this is text-to-speech. So one very important note about all of this dialogue that you're hearing, all the dialogue added from the side missions, all the added dialogue from the banters between Hive and Adam, and all the everything else that's floating around. We are ensuring that the next localization is going to be a full coverage of basically everything. So there will not be a localization adjustment for this update in regards to the vocals that you see. So like you're not going to have the text to speech is not going to be removed. We're still going to have the placeholders in effect here. And I also know that regarding the implementation of like the Crowden elements, I know that we've already started implementing some of that, and I hope that we'll have further implementations for this update. If not, then that will be kind of like filtered in over time, and the big boy, if you will, for all of the languages to be incorporated into EVERSPACE 2 is that 1.0 release. And we are doing this in order to make sure your funds are being put to where they need to go. I mean, you guys supported us, you guys have funded us, and we don't want to waste that. If we're doing all of these quick little segments of localization and voiceovers, that's not a very good use of our time and our money, and ultimately your time and your money. So that's why we are withholding a lot of that until that 1.0 release. So if anyone had those thoughts, any of that was kind of like circulating around, just know that that's what the game plan is. We want to utilize these resources effectively. So the localization, the voiceover, that is happening at the 1.0 next year timeline. All right, now let's get into this mission.
Can you hear me? I was sent by the family.
Who is this? Do I know you?
Not yet. I was sent by Kato. Well, honestly, it was that jackass Daryl.
Jackass? Then you clearly don't know Daryl.
Look, we don't have the time to discuss Daryl's characteristics right now. The Okkar are about to arrive.
The Okkar? Why would the Okkar?
With our given authority, the female human individual is to surrender and hand it out without resistance.
You weren't lying.
Why would I? Daryl, on the other hand, promised me an easy in and out. I guess I can forget about that.
I sure as hell don't want to end up in an Okkar dungeon.
Hive, block our ship's signature. The Akra mustn't be able to track what is about to happen.
This would be the right time to consider certain life choices.
Already did. I think that's all of them.
For now, there'll be more. I'm getting the hell out of here.
A little gratitude would be nice. I've put my neck on the line for you.
I'll be sure to thank Daryl when I see him.
Charming.
She seems nice.
Adam, I must, yet again, apologize for my nephew. Is it true he sent you off on another one-way mission?
It's all taken care of. I think there's something between him and this clockwork.
Oh, this was about her? Yeah, there's a spark of interest going on there. At least the boy has an interest.
I'll need proper payment for this, Kato. I jeopardized my standing with the Akra.
I'll see you right. The important thing is that everyone is safe. We could always use a true jet like you. Do some more favors for us and we'll watch your back.
I'll check in on the job board when I get the chance.
Excellent. So by starting talent acquisition, it does open up a new subcategory of missions for you to go through. And what it requires, what it entails, is you completing additional tasks specifically for Mr. Kato. And with every mission that you do, it builds to your ability to unlock another one of these clockwork missions and to see how that all plays out. Pretty happy with how this is coming together. From the feedback you guys have been providing, it also seems to be working out the way that we intended it to. So yeah, so those job boards are going to be a little bit more exciting. We also increased the amount of credits that you earn from jobs. I'll say that one more time in case anybody missed that. Jobs are more valuable to do. They are providing more. I do think we also decreased the experience gains, however. So what we want to do is kind of like separate out these elements, especially since we've evaluated and completely redid the leveling system, right? We want to make sure that the experience that you earn is applicable to how you are addressing the needs of yourself, whether it's your items, whether it's your credits, purchasing stuff, crafting stuff, whatever. And jobs were not the best at credits, and yet they were really good at experience. So we kind of turned that a little bit because we want jobs to be more valuable when it comes to credits and items. There's still some good opportunities to collect items that you're looking for through job boards. Just to highlight those differences a bit further from general campaign progress, HRAs, and the in-game riffs. So much damage. That's beautiful. Excellent. Ooh. Ooh, some armor breaker missiles. That's going to be fun whenever we start talking about the changes to the secondaries, which will be after we go through some questions. I want to get to a shop, however. This might work. See if we can find some specific goods here, maybe. We already have that. You're not selling what we're looking for. All right, see you later. Let's try another place. Try the freelancer hangar. So I want to have some stuff to compare and some of these adjustments that we've been working on. Yes, no, maybe? Also a no? Well, all right. I guess we might just have to generate it in anyway. That's okay. If push comes to shove, that's what we'll do. But overall, lot of reconfigurations of how the stats of items are benefiting you as a player. There's been, actually, let me go to my cheat sheet really quick here, just for a couple other tweaks so you guys are aware. Like, for example, we've adjusted even like the utility damage scaling. The scaling that it does for your devices. This has also been something we've had to go back into and refine a bit. Lots of little things like that. And a lot of this comes down to how you guys have been feeling about it working in tandem with like certain device combinations or certain weapons or, you know, whatever, and the feedback you've been providing, as well as our own internal tests too, right? And we're getting it to a really good place of having these different items and devices and tools, general tools, all be great in their own merits, with their own merits, especially when you're comparing them to one another. Now, one could argue that comparing is kind of like a death nail, right? Like it's not always the best to do that. But if you're specifically looking for and you really like a certain item, we do want to make sure that it stacks up to other items around it. Just like I said earlier, and how the Umbra got a bit of a power boost, we want to ensure that it is keeping up to its name and it's valuable at the same level of something else, right? Some equivalent that you would compare it to. Like this blaster, for example. Just a straight example there, right? Straight example there. Just making sure that the balance still fits. And maximizing your resources, of course, is still gonna yield very powerful results. So even though this Umbra might not be nearly as powerful as, say, an Executioner with kinetic damage catalyst on it, it's a very popular choice out there. The Umbra still does get that 30% bonus if you pair it with that Eclipse set, right? So it comes down to the build that you want, how you want to dive into the fray. A lot of important tricks and tools to help optimize, to bring it all together. And don't forget that we're adding a lot of those tools for you to like manipulate the game space with. That's why we put them there. I say that like you're not doing that. You're clearly doing that. The feedback shows. All right, we're gonna fill up our ship. And while we're doing this, let's go ahead and answer some questions that I'm sure you guys are really curious about. Yeah, here we go. So Geekbyte, are you there?
Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Awesome.
Right. We have several questions for you. I hope you're feeling, full of answers.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and before you ask the first question, I just looked over and I see somebody say repeater. The repeater actually did get a buff. The repeater did actually get a buff as well. So don't say we're not listening, guys. All right, anyway, now question time.
The irony to that is my first question was from Wizard Jerry on YouTube. May I ask, will you guys implement the buff on the repeater in this fall update?
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Well, spoiler alert, yes. Yes, yeah, that should be tweaked, as well as just kind of like give it a little bit of extra coverage, because, you know, I think this is a good question to talk about, like game balance and design and all of this type of stuff. There's a lot that's been adjusted for, like the utility damage scaling, the Bloodstar repeater. We even adjusted like the cave crawlers, the creatures that are walking around. Like we adjusted their corrosive damage. In some cases, it was not pleasant. But we also want to make sure that it's an actual challenge whenever you're spending time down there. And if you're not dodging cave crawlers, you can't just soak that. Like you do have to be thoughtful. We also did a number to like how the attributes can roll simultaneously on items. This is something that I know a lot of individuals have kind of asked tons of questions about, pertaining to how it stacks. We'll do like the shield and the nanoplating here, where we have firepower structure, precision structures. It's like several of you out there, you diehards out there, recognize that certain attributes were triggering in certain orders. And we have gone through and we are making it possible, for example, firepower, precision, and structure can all be on an item simultaneously. So, but yeah, lots of tweaks like that. I'm sure we could probably talk about a few more of those, but let's get into more questions before we get too crazy.
Okay. Fred Specret over on YouTube is asking, any thoughts on letting us choose a starter ship when making a new save, and or allowing us to skip the campaign if we've completed it before? He's putting it as a kind of a new game plus idea.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very clever idea. I do. I want to give you credit for that. That's pretty cool. That's a nice thought, and the concept I think would even work in execution. However, we don't have a desire to do a new game plus. We don't. Instead, our focus is making sure that the onboarding for EVERSPACE 2, when you first dive in, it gives you a ship that is easy to understand. The Sentinel is a basic ship at first. You can start flying it right away. You don't have any severe deficits. You don't have any severe benefits. And it's easily understood to start your adventure. And then whenever you get to Nefty's Plains in the first ship dealer, we intentionally have it set up to where you get the greatest assortment of ships, so you can start diversifying where you want to go from there. Otherwise, on the side of a new game plus, it's a kind of a complicated issue, so I'm just going to be brief on this. It would require us rebalancing. Believe it or not, we'd have to rebalance most of the core of the game experience for that alternate game mode, and it's not something that we can devote time or attention to. We've got to stay the course. We got to focus on our 1.0 release. After 1.0 release, I know that we're also going to be working on DLC content. A new game plus, it's just not something that, it's not really even on the table. But we do hear you guys. If there's more discussions around it and, you know, it really blows up or something, you know, we'll have more discussions. But please, I would not expect that. It's just not in our desire to pursue. So we're happy with the end game. You get to the end game, you're supposed to stay there and enjoy the content that keeps enriching where you're at, as opposed to starting over and effectively going through the whole thing again to get to the end game where the meat of everything is at. So yeah. So thank you for that question. I hope that's as much clarity as I can provide, at least right now. Yeah. So excellent. Next question, please. Next question.
Next one is from Flory over on Twitch. Hazards, are they scrapped or will they come with 1.0?
That's telling. Oh my goodness. So I know that hazards has been on our roadmap for a very, very long time. This is not anything that's been hidden. It's not like, ooh, we're not going to say anything and maybe people will think. No. Hazards was on the original roadmap for the Kickstarter, in fact. And technically, yes, we still have a desire to create hazards inside of EVERSPACE 2. Just remember, keep in mind, guys, that these hazards would look different in EVERSPACE 2 than EVERSPACE 1. EVERSPACE 1, we're kind of throwing those hazards right in front of you in the mix of trying to overcome this roguelike loop, right, of progression. And so because we have static locations here in EVERSPACE 2, we have these static locations. These locations are handcrafted, and we have to be incredibly intentional about what's appearing there. And if we had even something like, say, a black hole appear as an unknown signal in the middle of Union, that's going to raise some questions, right? It's like, why does this exist here in an unknown signal and nobody's concerned about this? There's a black hole inside of the solar system. So, you know, we have to be mindful about what the game space is providing, how the lore comes together regarding that, and if necessary, then approach that gamification accordingly. So hold your horses on that for now. I'm not saying no, but we'll see where things go. We'll see where things go. Cool.
Excellent. Again, we're going back to Fred Speckvet over on YouTube.
Okay.
Puzzles, location challenges, and tight passages, are they all balanced and doable with any ship in the game?
Probably not. Probably not. I say that because I don't think we've tested every single puzzle with every single ship. It is likely that there are some outstanding moments in certain puzzles or jobs or events, whatever, where a certain ship model might have a greatly improved chance and odds of success versus another one. I'm looking at you, new Titan bomber wings. Might have a couple more challenges to overcome and face. I think that's just getting to know your ship, right? Understanding that they have different hitboxes, they move differently, they are better at doing certain things over others. So I don't think that we have a desire to like fully balance and make every single ship have equal fairness across the board. They're meant to be different. They're designed differently. So yeah, Hopefully, though, you're not stopped from completing any task if you're using any specific ship. If that happens, that's a bug. That's a bug. Report it. Say, hey, I'm flying this ship, these wings. I can't get into X, Y, or Z, whatever's going on. Let us know, because that's not cool. That's not cool. That's ship gating. We don't want to do that. All right. Cool.
Excellent answer. Thunderflame on YouTube wants to know, what's the deal with the new ship icon colors? Is it just for flair?
The ship icon color. Oh, so for purchasing ships?
Yeah, I think it's relevant to the tier.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's just relevant for the tier. So especially when you start a new game, this is going to be so much more apparent. Because here they're all pink. Oh, here we got a tier 2. So here we have a slight display of what's going on here. Yeah, this is just stacking up the different tiers of ships so that you can more readily see a tier from another one. Because sometimes that little number just isn't quite enough. Just isn't quite enough. Yeah, just a little added splash of color, and we just felt like it should be consistent with these other elements across the board. So the items, you know, you've got effectively your tier 1 ships are your uncommons, your tier 2s are your rares, your tier 3s are your superiors, and tier 4s, I mean, they're probably just going to be commons. That's my guess. We'll see. We'll see what those look like. But yeah.
Very common, very common. Right, Gilles Mercier on YouTube is asking, did you change the overall weapons numbers? These ones seem low. I think it's to do with the bomber, when you picked up the bomber.
In regards to like the ship balance, these numbers over here, is that the question?
I think it was, yeah. I think
so. This is just a tier 3. It's not a tier 3 plus. This hasn't been something I've been following, so I don't readily know. My guess is that we have continued tweaking this type of stuff. I'm kind of doing a quick search just to see if I have any additional information on it. I'm not seeing anything that jumps out at me. It's possible. I know that we also haven't done... we haven't been trying to go in and touch up stuff like this, because if you guys remember, we had a pretty strong balancing pass of all the ships, and what was it, the last update? 2 updates ago? I can't remember. Time it's all blurring together for me. But we like to do those in heavy, how do I describe this? All together. So when we do it all together, that ensures the balance is proper, it's effective, right? If we're just going in and we're tweaking little things here and there on a ship, not in comparison to everything else, that could lead to some issues. Yeah, don't think that's so much happening right now. Don't think that's so much happening.
Gilles has done a little update about his question. He said it was more about the weapons that you were going through at the time.
The weapons I was going through at the time. There have been adjustments to various values on weaponry, especially on secondaries, which we will talk about after the questions are over. Yeah, I mean, there's been tweaks across the board on a number of elements. Most of them have been pertaining to weaponry, attributes, secondaries. That's been the main priority as of late. And this feedback, the reason these changes have been getting implemented and these items have been specifically getting balanced is because of the successes and failures of these rifts that you guys are running through. That player feedback that you're providing helps us see what items are actually too powerful and which ones aren't powerful enough, so that we can make all of them fun and functional. We don't really want there to be one go-to item, and because then it's like, oh, you're just like searching for one item in the whole itemization pool and then you've completed your build. That's not fun. That's not fun. We want there to be opportunity through every single one, which is why this balance has to constantly come into play, constantly refine, constantly adjust. Even if it's just a light little increase like on the Umbra, or a little bit more of a boost like on the Repeater, to again, the secondary stuff, which we will talk about. I want to do that all at once. That way it's not confusing to you guys who have lots of questions when we get there. So, yeah.
Cool. Right, I've got 3 more questions. We'll fly through these.
Do it.
Fred Specklet on YouTube just wants to know, how many hours do you have in Everspace 2?
Well, it's so my Steam accounts, I mean, not all of my hours come from Steam on EVERSPACE 2. I want to be very clear on that front. But my Steam hours as of right now say I've almost reached 800 hours. But again, that's not fully telling of that full, time spent for, work-related purposes. Also, a fun little fact. This one's kind of hilarious. My EVERSPACE 2 prototype time is 14.2 hours, and that's an absolute lie in regards to how much time I spent on that, for example. So, just take that number and double it, triple it, quadruple it, whatever. Probably how much time I've spent in this dang game. It's great.
I'm waiting for somebody to come up with rookie numbers in the chat, Matthew McConaughey.
Oh my gosh. Of course.
Right, next up is Wizard Jerry on YouTube. He's just asking, will the localization on crowding be covered in the fall update?
Okay, so it is to my understanding, and Michael, if you are there, I would love additional clarity on this, but I have it understood that the crowding information will not be applied until 1.0 release. I would happily yield to any additional information or correction if that information is available, but that is how I understand it. So Michael, if you do have more information regarding crowding and its implementation in EVERSPACE 2's localization, love any additions there, if you got it. So go ahead and ask the next question. If Michael gives us a response back, then we will provide that clarity.
Right, last again from Fred Specvet. Are there any changes planned for Alec? Because right now he seems to be more useless than actually useful. His damage is low and he stays for a really short time. I know, poor Alec.
That kind of makes me sad. So look, okay, so Alec, the poor lad, only has one perk right now. Right now? Did I just say right now? Man, that could be really revealing if that's taken out of context. But yeah, there's definitely more that could be done to Alec. It's just not been a focal point because we need to make sure that this update has content for you to experience in the end game. It's like, do you want us to work on Alec or do you want us to work on Rifts? I think I know what the answer would be there. So we do recognize that Alec has some, how to describe it? Shoddy interaction times with the player and some unconvincing forms of help. So yeah, we'll get more. We'll get more in the in the future pertaining to our furry little friend, probably. Good stuff. Michael did give us a official response. I do appreciate that, Michael. I know sometimes there's a lot on your plate when you're watching the streams, so really appreciated that you went aside and pulled this information. He says that the crowd and feedback will be included in the final pass for 1.0. So for those of you who are hearing that and you're like, Crowdin, I've never heard of Crowdin. So if you speak a different language and you want it to be incorporated into our game, you should head over to Crowdin. There's a link in the Discord, and you can also just search for EVERSPACE 2 in Crowdin, and you can help localize the game. Now we are utilizing, professional localizations as well on this front, but that shouldn't stop you. Obviously, there can be errors to boot, and there's tons, thousands, tens of thousands of lines of text in this game, and every extra set of eyes goes such a long way. We know this because we're using an early access format, and your feedback has been insanely good, right? Same thing applies from Crowdin regarding localizations. Dive in on that, and at 1.0, that will be fleshed out along with voiceover work for both English and German for all of the casts and crew. Cool. Great question. Was that the last question? Do we have another one after that?
Was indeed. Fly on, pilot.
Awesome. Very good. Well, those are solid questions, guys. So I think the next big thing that we do need to discuss are these secondaries. So quick transition from what we were just doing to here right now. Basically, and talking about how all the items need further balancing, refinement, blah, blah, blah. We identified a little bit of a balancing issue, a little bit one. So for those of you who just love your secondaries, like you love your missiles and you love your mines and all of that stuff, you might have noticed that your missiles, if you compare the damage output of a standard missile, here, let me just give you an example. We need to give you an example. 1 second. I'm gonna get a mine, okay? So one breathing moment. I wanna do this so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. All right, this is important. It's important for the people. It'll be good, I promise. It's important. I know some people are gonna start crunching the numbers and everything already, but yeah, that's fine. You guys do you. I'll do one more. Actually, we're gonna do the whole suite. We're gonna do the standard missiles. We're gonna do the armor breaker missiles. We're gonna do the shield breaker missiles. You're gonna get all of it here. I'll give you every single one so you can see what the heck it is I'm talking about. And we're back. Okay, so what I've done is I've just generated in a bunch of missiles right here so that you can see kind of like the differences and how it's applicable. Now, this should be already just like observing the numbers on these. You're already kind of should be turning your head a little bit like, oh, I see a difference here. None of these have the thing that gives it more, the prefix, the high capacity. There it is. None of these have high capacity. All these have been adjusted values for how many you can hold. In addition to that, like, let's just take a look at the damage output, for example. We're gonna peel these off. We can do some quick comparisons. Let's take a look at the mines versus the are we gonna compare? Oh wait, there we go. The corrosion mines versus the standard mines. You'll see, for example, the corrosion mine deals a ton more kinetic damage, as it should, because it doesn't do any energy damage, right? But if you are looking at these numbers incredibly carefully, and then you look at the homing missiles, you will see a pretty large difference now in comparison to probably what's in your current build, right? Because before these mines and these missiles, the mines' actual damage like that appeared here was higher. The mines that don't require a lock-on, that deal splash damage, they were doing more damage in a single shot. Now, if you were to take your homing missiles in comparison to these mines, and you evaluated how much overarching damage they do and how quickly you could submit said damage, you would find that the homing missiles actually won, but it wasn't by much. And it was also to a single target, right? So that's what we've kind of gone in here and started addressing. We said, hey, look, we need to make sure that these are on par with one another. And generally speaking, we don't like nerfing so much. We like to, give the benefit to the player and also the opportunities to expand further. So what we've kind of done is instead of like going in and touching up the damage values too much, instead what we did is we decided, you know what, the fire rate is something we need to be more observant about here. We need to be careful about that general output rate in comparison to the overarching damage totals as well. So you'll see on these mines that the fire rate is now 1 per every second. This has been reduced. This has been reduced. You'll also see on the homing missiles, they have also been reduced. Damage increased on these missiles, on missile types, but the speed at which you can fire them has been reduced down, okay? So now your decision-making process with your secondaries, it's gonna come down to more of like the right timing, as was the intention straight out of the gate, in conjunction with what you are utilizing in the space that you're in, blah, 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 blah. And here, through these balance changes, we believe we still have to, do further testing and stuff, and I'm sure you'll help us out when this goes live with the update, is to make sure that homing missiles are in fact fantastic for taking out a single target, and mines aren't necessarily. They're not as good as taking out a single target, right? Versus homing missiles probably shouldn't be as good for taking out multiple targets, whereas mines should. That's their difference. That's where they shine apart from one another. And we have to ensure that that balance is fair, so you're not looking at between the choices and you say, oh, well, mines are straight up better at a single target damage anyway, so I'm just going to use mines and never use missiles, so I never have to worry about lock-on, so I never have to worry about range, you know, all this type of stuff. We wouldn't want that to happen, which I think might have started happening a little bit. So those are some pretty big adjustments that we've made on this front. I'm going to kind of like hover over these so you can kind of see where they're at. Maybe you have the game pulled up over on your own monitor and you're like taking screenshots of where it was at before. Keep in mind, every single one of these does not have a grade on it. This one has marksman. How dare you? I was trying to not generate any prefixes, but none of these have grades on them. So they're not prototypes. They're not Starforged. You're getting straight up what they are capable of. The only thing this is going to do is it increases the marksman range, it increases the range due to marksman. But you can see how those damages now are different based on that rate of fire. Also keep in mind, those numbers are not your DPS. Not your DPS, okay? Like you're looking at your weapons, the top is the DPS. The kinetic damage, the energy damage is below. The reason we have gone with this format is so that you know when you fire one missile, that's the damage it's gonna do. When you fire one mine, that's the damage it's gonna do. If you wanted to calculate the DPS, you're gonna have to, you know, crunch those numbers a little bit yourself, but do keep in mind that homing missiles do win outright on that front, straight up because you can fire them faster. And now, through this particular adjustments, they should be doing more damage to boot. Last but not least, quantities. We evaluated how many you can hold, and we decided we needed to tweak those values. We needed to adjust them. So we gave you, I believe it's more on the front of missiles. Let me just do a quick double check here. Just a quick double check. Making sure I'm not speaking lies, because that would be sad. Yeah, increase missile ammo across the board. Yep. And slightly reduce the mine ammo across the board. So again, this is one of those elements that we had to employ so as to not make one secondary item just inherently better than other ones, because it not only fulfills a certain role, but then it also overrides other roles that other secondaries would accomplish, right? Isn't balancing fun? Isn't this just the greatest thing ever? You come into a dev live stream to watch EVERSPACE 2 being played, and this guy's up here talking to you like, we changed some numbers. It's crazy, okay? This stuff is nuts. But you guys did help us get here with some subtle observations you made, with some builds that you've provided, with, you know, concerns that you raised. It's good. It's good. We don't like nerfing. I bet touching Executioner was painful then. No, it was actually rather easy. We're like, everybody on the team is just like, anytime we're like trying to like screw around and like just do insane amounts of damage, like everybody's using Executioner with kinetic damage. It's like, okay, maybe this is a little too much. There's like not another option. So yeah, balance is, it's, you know, one of those things that, whew, the nerf bat does have to come out from time to time, but we didn't want to just like straight up destroy the abilities here. That wouldn't be fun. They just need to be functional in different ways, and one shouldn't be inherently better than the other. That's the challenge. That is the plan of balancing thereof. It's wild. So with all that being said, I mean, we're almost into a next Q&A segment, but what I want to do is I want to load up a familiar save from Wizard Jerry, who is part of the stream. And we are going to be, after this line of questioning, we're going to be attempting a Lunacy 1000 run without any legendaries. Because he did it. He accomplished this feat. And it was a build that wasn't as refined as this one even. Like, he's further refined it, he's been optimizing it. This thing is an absolute fiend when it comes to sheer damage output. Now, that being said, here's a little bit of a plot twist. And Wizard Jerry, I know I kind of chatted with you before stream, he didn't know this. This has all these changes in place. So my doing this bombing build, we should see a little bit of a leveling out, ensuring that these mines aren't as insane. It should still be quite powerful because it's a bomber. It optimizes secondaries. But we'll see if these little tweaks give it a bit of a better feel or not. So you can see kind of like all these components here, what we're about to be running. We got this insane, powerful Gauss cannon. We got an efficient thermo gun, high capacity destabilizer missiles, powerful corrosion mines back to back with kinetic damage catalysts. The Blastmaster, ladies and gentlemen. And then a slew of very well optimized equipment for absurd stats. So you can see over on the right side with the attributes, we've got 3,215 firepower, 3,081 precision, and that is in conjunction with using exploitation, so increased critical hit chance for movement impaired foes, as well as critical faculty, which is kind of the chef's kiss of this build. Critical hits have a 30% chance to restore 1% ult energy, so the Arc 9000 is going to find a lot of love here. Last bits, we've got crit happens, explosive damage, of course, and play it safe for that reactive armor, which is necessary for Lunacy 1000. Like, you have to use it. Even flying this ship, you're gonna take an insane number of damage. And then we also have close call for those moments where you just can't expect dying in a 2-shot format. Oh my gosh. So now that you have all of the, oh wait, we're not done yet. Hang on, we also gotta go through the devices. We have corrosion ejector mercy kill. We got fusion hook reach extender to help really make sure we can grab onto something and get out of there. We've got short circuit EMP generator, and we've got parting gift teleporter. Now, you've got the build in your mind. Everything's fantastic. Target lockout duration is reduced by 50%, 20% reduced damage from enemy explosives, and Arc 9000 damage increases by 2% every second after being fired. Now that you've memorized every single one of these pieces, we're gonna go into another round of questions, answer them, and then we'll use this in a Lunacy 1000 Rift run. So what questions have generated Geekbyte that need to be addressed? What do we got?
We got one. We've got one.
Oh, perfect.
I think you've stunned everybody again.
No, that's great. That way we can get into the rift. So yeah, go ahead and shoot me the question and then we'll get into it.
It's a first-time chatter of Venom 4155. Welcome on Twitch. He's been curious about getting this game, but I'm wondering if all ships, including enemy ships, are able to just stop and shoot like a stationary turret. If so, did you ever consider a thruster type that's fast but could keep only propelling to keep your ships moving? They're just like the thrill of the chase and the maneuvers that could throw enemies off, which gives you a chance to line up a shot.
Okay, yeah, so it sounds like you're referring to inertia dampening, which I can show you right here. Like, I'm turning it off and my ship is just free floating, so I can fire my weapon while I'm moving backwards. So like there's a target over there. I'm not boosting at all. Then I could boost to the left and I'm moving backwards to the left and, you know, all this type of stuff. Inertia dampening is a setting that you can change on your ship. Oh, wait a second. We need to go to customize controls. There we go. And it's not bound by default. We don't believe that the game is meant to be played in this fashion. Here it is. We don't believe the game is meant to be played in this fashion, but it was due to popular requests that we plugged it in. And it happens to be fun if you utilize it well. There can be some strong functionality in conserving thruster boost and, you know, positioning advantages around your foes. But yeah, in short, use it delicately. It can be a bit of a pain if you are first trying it, because the game is very much intended to have full control over your positioning in space. But yeah, it's there, it's in there. Otherwise, enemy ships will always be moving. The only exception to that rule are drones, which have so much speed and ability to like move around that they can literally just stop and keep shooting at you from one location, as well as any foe that's webbed, for obvious reasons. So hopefully that provides quite a bit of clarity for that particular question. But if you have a follow-up, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'm going to attempt to do this. This is what I've been nervous about, guys, because this is nuts. This is going to be insane. We are doing the full-blown Lunacy 1000 here. So for anybody who's missed it, the Lunacy levels affect your enemy damage, your enemy hit points, the loot quality, and the legendary equipment drop chance, okay? The higher you go, the higher those numbers go. At 500, you can get legendary equipment guaranteed. Anything above that is truly for bragging rights, but it does still enhance the loot quality, which makes all of the other stuff that drops higher grade, greater chance for prefixes, higher tiers, all of that stuff. It just boosts that up and up and up, so it gets absurd. And at Lunacy 1000, the loot quality is 1000. Wizard Jerry, I appreciate your encouragement on this front. Oh gosh, I'm so nervous. But this should also show you just like how much of a challenge we do want these rifts to be. And we're not entirely finished with rifts either. All right, let's do this. Oh my gosh, okay. I am so freaking nervous. Here we go. Ah, no, I lost it. Ah, nope. Gotta get my maneuvering down a little bit. Reset. Okay, here we go. Nope. Okay. Nope. Ah! Oh, not Ogre Primes! Oh, gosh! That's not fair! Well, we've already popped our emergency procedures. That's not a good sign. I lasted longer than my first attempt, I will say that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Whew. Wizard Jerry, you are an absolute wizard. All right, gonna do this one again because I feel like the core issue here is I gotta get these enemies to group up a little bit. Oh my gosh. So you can see just like how crazy, how absurd this comes together pertaining to your enemies and their power level, how much damage they can take. It is very high, and that's very intended. So should you come to the Lunacy 1000s, if you have sanity inside of your brain, you would only do above like 500s when you have legendary equipment. Like that legendary equipment will truly take the builds that you have to the next level. They do. It's absurd. It's delightful. But when you don't have a legendary, this is meant to be basically impossible. It's meant to be basically impossible. I'm gonna give it one more go. I wanna push myself. I almost got one area completed earlier this week. Oh my gosh. So here we go. See if we can bring it together just a little bit better. He does have a screenshot of the loot. I looked over. He posted on Discord. I will show it also whenever we get to the community screenshots segment. We will be covering all of that stuff. No. Right here. There we go. That's what I want to see. That's not what I want to see. Get out of there. Woo! All right, let's just try and maximize a little bit of this. Okay, all right. This is coming together decently well. All right. Feeling a little bit better about this one. Nope. Let's try and focus this guy down. Did we get him? Oh my gosh, we didn't get him. Okay, there we go. All right. Our progress is too slow. We're gonna have to build this up. Oh no! No! I was feeling so good about that one too. Oh my gosh. Ah. Oh my gosh. Ah! I got like that 1-2 punch right there when I slowed down. You can't slow down. You can't slow down those high level lunacies. Oh my goodness, guys. So a little bit of context to this too, just so you guys are a whale. A whale? You're not a whale. You're to make sure that you're aware. I am not a stranger to doing challenge runs and high intensity events and games like this. Obviously, I'm not the best at the game. I'm not gonna make that claim. I would never have made that claim ever. And it is such an incredible showcase of Wizard Jerry's abilities to push this to its limits by completing what you just saw, the absolute chaos, putting everything together in less than a 10-minute Rift Run sequence. Completed this at Lunacy 1000 without a legendary, without a single legendary. Like, absolutely insane. Now, my best run, my personal best run at this point, since the update has since the experimental has dropped, I should say, I had a Lunacy 450 run that I almost completed without a legendary, and I felt pretty good about that. But my best one was a Lunacy 400 without a legendary. My build was actually, I actually used a gunship, and I was just kind of like spamming alt, making sure the turret was constant and firing my weapons like a fiend. I was using an executioner for those who are wondering. Gosh, I almost feel like I'm cheating for saying that, but still. But yeah, my lightship runs, oh my gosh. Guys, it is nuts in here. In this space, it's nuts. My best lightship run, I had a it was probably a 300 with a stinger. I want to get better with stingers here. They're so much fun when you are dodging everything and bring it together. It is nuts. So yeah, so even with the changes to the secondaries, you can see like, this build, should it be used effectively, it's not gonna be hindered too much by that fire rate because you can cycle between these. I think that's a really powerful combination here that Wizard Jerry has, especially with the high capacity destabilizer missiles to bring down those very important and dangerous targets. It's nuts. It is absolutely nuts. So I don't want to keep showing you death screens. I want to show you a pretty good Rift run. At the same time, I want to give this shot I want to give this one more shot because, dang it, this build just deserves a lot of love. That's why we're revisiting it. That's why I want to show it. We're gonna do this one more time. Do it one more time. And we'll see what we can do. Clearly not nerfed enough to, oh my gosh, Spoot Knight, goodness gravy. We don't want to nerf stuff to where it's not fun, goodness. Stuff should still very much be effective like it was, but it should now, like through the adjustments that we're making, it needs to be more fine-tuned to that, the qualities that it's meant to provide, right? That is what balancing's all about. Oh, come on. Where are my asteroids at? Okay, we're just gonna zip around. Okay, that's good damage output. That's good. Oh no! No, you gotta be kidding me! Give me an asteroid! Oh my gosh! I gotta be more observant of my environment, that's for sure. All right, I'm gonna change over to a build that I'm a bit more satisfied with using. That is nuts! That is nuts! Truly, with how fast I'm getting destroyed, is a testament to Wizard Jerry's skills. So, and yeah, and when you guys, you know, when you're doing your Rift runs and you're excited about reaching certain points, continue sharing that feedback with us. Continue sharing your builds with us. Like, we love to see that. We love to see what's working, what's not. Because again, through all of this balancing stuff, like even with the stuff pertaining to, especially with the stuff pertaining to the secondaries, as well as increasing and decreasing various item damages and whatnot, we are doing that not because we want to mess you up when we come back to the game. You're like, I don't know how anything works. No, we're doing that to ensure that all builds can shine, all items can shine, all utility purposes can come to fruition based on how you're approaching the game space. That's why we do balance. It's not because we hate an item and your play style. It's actually because we love it and we want more play styles to emerge in similar skill. So yeah, good stuff. Man, that's nuts. I'm gonna have to practice so much more. Jeez. Absolutely nuts. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna bounce to, I think our rifting save, this was I think it's a striker, but I'm gonna go ahead and change it over to a gunship. I wanna do a gunship build. So we'll adjust it accordingly.
Have you returned with our scan?
Oh, this is a bit further back. That's fine. Here, we're gonna cheat because we're just gonna zip over here really quick. This is a cheated save, so if you're looking at any values or mission chains or anything, it's borked, it's broken. That's not important. The important thing is the rift that we're going to try to run. Oh my goodness. I don't necessarily want to use a stinger in the, you know, I'll ask you guys, what do you want? Do you want a gunship or a stinger? I'll give you the choice. There's those Titan wings. Liberator, we'll change the wing type if we go the gunship. Would you rather see a gunship or a stinger? What do you guys want? Scout? Nope. We're not doing a scout. Quit saying scout. Gunship. Okay, I got 3 gunships so far and 2 stingers. 4 gunships. 3 gunships and 3 stingers. Okay, excuse me. Rogue. So the rogue would technically be the stinger. It's tied right now. What do you? We're these two. You're losing it, guys. Okay, I'm seeing more gunship. We're gonna do gunship. All right, so we're gonna purchase this bad boy, and then we're gonna change the wings to the magic of you know, Dove console. And do keep in mind, guys, that, you know, even though I have this power in my hands to change the wings on the fly, you know, do keep in mind that we're gonna keep that original look. Do keep in mind that whenever you're going in here and you're changing things, that there's still some more stuff planned, okay? There's still some more stuff coming in the future. All right? This is not done. This is not done. Okay, so let's see. We are going to probably use all day. I like this one a lot. Teleporters, probably going to be good. Nano transmitter, I did use this last time. Yeah, this is the same build that I had. Okay, cool. And for our equipment, we're just gonna kind of wing this first one to generate more equipment. We're gonna do this at probably Lunacy 300. Pretty confident that I can pull that off. I'm missing a third weapon. Oh boy. Oh boy. Outdated equipment. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let's tweak this up a little bit further and change those wings. Oh, so much better. Already improved. Let's head over here to the G&B office hangar. See what they've got for sale real quick. Look, guys, it's RNG, all right? Like, I didn't choose this. Oh, I can't install the kinetic damage. All right, it was destined to be. All right, it was destined to be. But you can tell. I mean, this is level 24, so maybe you can't tell because it might look a little different. It's an uncommon level 24, so the damage is going to look a little bit different. But regardless, pretty sure we can still best one of these rifts at probably about 300. That seems to be about my break point with most ships. And bring it all together. That was RNG. I had no idea that item was there. I legitimately had no idea. But dang it, I'll take it. That's for sure. Oh, I could have upgraded it to superior shadowy. That would have been smart, huh? That would have been incredibly smart. But I didn't. We're going with what we've got. All right. Oh, much better. Oh, excuse me? Excuse me? All right, okay, all right. That should help out immensely. I need more targets. That's fine. Yeah, so as you can see, we're doing a Lunacy 300. Our equipment isn't like fully optimized. It's not terrible. I definitely could have made it better. That's for sure. sometimes it's kind of fun just to see what you can do with whatever you get. At least that's my mentality. Oh yeah, this is feeling good. Excellent. All right, good. Koi Gun and Executioner seem to be putting in quite a bit of work. Synchro Pulse is running out of juice too fast. We gotta fix the energy core probably. Maybe not. No, we need to fix the energy core. A lot of hiccups here, but that's okay. Let's see. Corrosion fields, actually not too big of a problem for something like a gunship. Enemies have 50% increased movement speed. Kind of a problem for a gunship. We're gonna go with the prior. We're gonna go enemies leave behind corrosion fields. I think we can deal with that a bit more. All right, let's drive forward. Let's see. All right, not good positioning here. Kind of gotta adjust. Ooh. Speaking of Tears of the Mad, because it dropped. I do believe that we are adjusting the values of the Tears of the Mad as well. Whoa! Because we've seen a number of individuals kind of like remarking on the lack of Tears of the Mad collection. And we're seeing that too. I mean, that's all part of the balancing act thereof. So rest assured, we will get to that. All right, let's try and line this stuff up. Come here. All right. Here we go. There we go. This is much better. Much more focused on what I was trying to accomplish. Ooh, up! Well, corrosion thankfully doesn't hurt us too much. Do either of these auto-fire? Do we have an auto-fire? Aha! Scorpion missiles. Alright, so let's keep the Scorpion missiles out. Let's just get some added bonus. You guys probably already noticed this, but another tweak that we actually made was that the modifier that insta-shoots missiles for you, we had to reduce that damage down. It was proving to be way too powerful. Way too powerful. But we didn't scale it back that much, believe it or not. We didn't scale it back that much. Oh, come on. There we go. All right, that's primary target. Get our health back. Good. Much better. All right. How's everyone doing this Friday? We having a good time? We having a good day, everybody? I certainly hope so. I'm having fun with you all. It's always nice to be able to come to these streams, give you some insight what's going on, talk about the balance, all the changes, give some praise where it's due. Oh, come on. Come on. I really don't want that Tormentor to survive. Thank you. There we go. All right. Alright, enemy health bar's hidden. Not really the biggest fan of that one. I think a lot of people that I continue to watch and engage with, they're like, oh yeah, that one's not so bad at all. I personally don't like it. Speaking of things that I don't like, turning off the damage numbers. We're gonna take this off now. Enemies slowly repair their hull. You know, if we had a more splash damage ability, I'd be concerned about that. But because we don't, I'm gonna just go ahead and utilize this one. When your resolve reaches 0, you are forcibly pulled out of the rift. You are forcibly removed from the rift. So you have to keep your resolve up in order to maintain the rift. It's a great question. Waiting for your buddies to show up, sir. They're not getting over here in time. Okay, that's good enough. That was only a drone? Ah, shucks. That was a waste. Ow. Really don't like those earlier drones! Oh my goodness! Overheat sucks in rifts! Ah! Whoa! Cerealia, man. They can be brutal. I really would like to time that better with additional damage, but oh well. All right. Here we go. Yes, good. Good. Lining up. Oh, there's that demolisher problem. Problem no more. Yeah. See, this is much more my pace and scale as opposed to friggin' Lunacy 1000. Oh my god. But I am excited to see just like how freaking crazy your builds go, guys. Oh my gosh. I want to see all of it. It really does make us happy when we see you like exploiting the tools that we're giving you. You're not meant to just like fall in line into like a very specific thing to do. Like if you can find combinations and stuff, enjoy those benefits. It's good. No thanks, I do not want to be mined. Excellent. Ooh! Ooh! All right, good, good. Excellent. I should also mention some stuff that maybe hasn't been pointed out so well. If you're ever like in the middle of a rift and you're like not happy with how things are coming together, or whatever reason you're like your time's up and you want to save, you can't save in a rift, but you can in the upper right. You can always leave the rift at any point in time. You are not bound to completing a rift or not. You can GTFO. And you will, at the very least, when you do that, you will save the found goods from, like your Tears of the Mad, for example. You will retain those. We really need to get those shields down. I want those shields down ASAP. Come on. Not my shields down. Excuse me, game. Excuse me, game. Ah! Come on, break the shields! There it is! Oh, this might actually be closer than I would like it to be. Oh, goodness. Come on. Oh, the resolve's going down. Oh, guys, it's going to be close. Oh, the rift's pulling us out. Oh, no. Come on. No. Ah! That's what happens when you resolve it. Oh man, I used all my missiles. Oh gosh, oh man, it hurts that I have to end the rift runs on that note, but it just goes to show, you know, how a little bit of preparedness can really change the format when you're entering into these rifts. Like again, my build is nothing like amazing here. In fact, I don't even know if I checked my perks. Oh gosh, like I don't even know what I had here, okay? So, you know, we've got an assortment of items that are not a full suite of superiors. And, you know, still with that, and our attributes too, like what am I doing with utility? I should have refined this further. But going into rifts, like there's still a lot of opportunity for a lot of gains, a lot of combinations of powers and abilities. When you're putting your head together and you're taking the items that we're giving to you and creating those synergetic effects, you're gonna shine. It's gonna be awesome. And I really am excited to see what you guys come up with and accomplish through the course of the updates launch and you know, up to 1.0. It's gonna be a lot of fun and it's gonna be super exciting. So at this point, we do need to transition over to the pictures, the community screenshots. That's gonna be the next element here that I want to highlight because that's always awesome to do. And through that, we are going to be answering tons more questions, whatever they are, whether it's about rifts, whether it's about legendaries, whether it's about leveling, whether it's about the Wizard Jerry's build that I show on screen, you know, whatever it is, changes that have been made. I can give you details to a point, but yeah, like let's crack that open. It'll be a fun time, I'm sure of it. And yeah, we'll just go from there. So speaking of going from there, I need just one quick break. One quick break to get it all set up, and we'll get right into it. Oh my gosh. Thank you everybody for your support in these riffs, by the way. You give me so much energy, it's kind of ridiculous. So thanks for that, truly. It is quite a delight. All right. Let's see here. Okay, all right. Let's get cracking and showing off this very first thing because I just want to prove to you guys that I'm not, you know, I'm not like talking Wizard Jerry's build up needlessly. Again, this is a no legendary run at Lunacy 1000. This is completion. Look at that loot drop. Lots of Starforged, lots of prototypes, and yeah, pretty nice. Awesome job, and excited to see more from you, Wizard Jerry, as well as from all of you who love that challenge of obtaining the highest loot possible. It's amazing. So keep at it. So I'm gonna start diving into these screenshots and highlighting. We got a lot of fantastic shots over the course of the last week with experimental, as you probably could tell. And I probably should have mentioned at the very freaking start of the stream how, you know, there's spoilerish territory going on here, but, you know, we're here now. So screenshots, some of these are going to be spoilery-ish, just a heads up. But we're starting off strong with a crispy muffin shot screaming out of a asteroid hole that appears to be exploding. I love it. I dig it so much. It's great. Geek Bite, what questions do we got?
Oh, we got some. Everybody's lining up, ready to ask.
Good.
Excellent. Right, Gilles Mercier first over on YouTube. It's been said on previous streams that gamepad playing will still need to be tweaked.
Yes.
Is there some things to be done on that front in the coming update?
Yes. There are, in fact, tweaks to gamepad updates, like specifically how navigation is used for both gamepad and keyboard for certain UX elements, like refining to the crafting inventory interactions. Let's see what else we got. Oh, these are a little bit more dated. Hang on a second. Let me find because I know that we've been. Let me say this. So I'm actually having a hard time finding the specific details. It might take me a little bit of digging, and I don't want to do that. I want to just answer the question, get through it. I know for a fact that we've got several dedicated gamepad users on our team, one of which is Michael, okay? One of which is Michael. He loves playing on a controller. We've got several other members that we want to make sure there's great care and attention put towards these controls for fairness across the board. We do recognize that there are benefits for using mouse and keyboard. We recognize there's benefits for using a controller. They are not equal, okay? And through that's why we have certain adjustments and tweaks here and there that are continued to get refined. So I think one of them more recently was with a gamepad, not for mouse and keyboard, but with a gamepad, when you lock into a target and they leave the screen, you'll actually retain the lock for a little bit longer versus if you're using mouse and keyboard where when they're off the screen, the lock is gone. So little tweaks like that, we're assuring there is a proper functionality and a balance towards the benefits and the trade-offs thereof. Great question. I love it. I want to answer in more detail. I just don't have it on me, so my apologies. But yeah, definitely a focal point where we feel it necessary to continue improving that. Absolutely. Absolutely. This next shot also comes from Crispy Muffin. I got several Crispy Muffin shots where he's just being an absolute baller. This one takes me back because this is from the tutorial. This is from the opening mission. I don't remember it looking so good. Nice shot. Great shot, Crispy Muffin. I dig it. And you guys dug it too because you liked it a lot in Discord. What's another question we got?
Oh, we got one from Bearded Frog. And he's asking, what is the purpose use of the crafting materials you get from dismantling legendaries? Is there any use for them?
As of right now, the specific use of the dismantled legendary crafting materials is to sit in your inventory and look incredibly pretty. That's it. That's the functionality. So there will come a time when that stuff is useful, and I think that there's going to be a lot of additional enjoyment had when we get to that point. So we just have to stay the course. We got to be patient and wait for the next round of legendary stuff to appear for some playful interactions in our future. We've got a shot from Spoot Knight as well. He had several that were just super clean. I dug this one so much because it feels like a movie shot. It's like a movie sequence where you have like this huge gate that's opening up really slowly and the lights pouring in. You're like, what's in there? But you get this huge sense of scope and scale with your tiny little ship using just a subtle amount of depth of field here too, just to add that level of detail. Chef's kiss. I love this. We're going to jump over to yet another Crispy Muffin shot as well and just observe the beauty of these dynamic angles as we answer another question.
We've got one from Flory over on Twitch. Will the Tears of Madness drop rate be adjusted from experimental to stable? In low rifts, the drop rate is extremely low and players playing the low rifts would need them the most for getting legendaries.
Right, yeah, this is something that we have talked about at least a little bit. It's going to be something that I raise to my fellow brethren over at ROCKFISH a little bit more because it doesn't feel the same. You're right. It feels like when you're running Lunacy at 0, the drop rate seems to be lower. That's not supposed to be the case. It's supposed to be the same regardless of what Lunacy you run at. It is supposed to be the same regardless of what Lunacy you run at. So yeah, that's going to be something that we evaluate and ensure, because like we want to make sure that players who are just wanting legendaries, like you don't need to grow into a massive skillful fiend at the game, right? That's why we added that system in the first place, and we recognize that right now it's not as accessible as we thought it might be. Yeah, so yeah, stay the course, there will be some adjustments in the future. So great question, alongside a great screenshot. Kazal is flexing his Rift runs here with a selection between the three. Love that cockpit shot. That separation also just looks clean. Very nice approach for all of our screenshot needs. I dig it. Very, very awesome. We have Flory, who's just having a party with explosions, and it's like fireworks. I see your ship. I see you. I see you. I see that EMP. Absolutely nuts. It's cool. Very nice explosion. What's another question we've got? Shoot me.
We just had a little follow-up from Michael as well about the Tears of Madness. Said that they'd had a discussion just today regarding it, and there will be adjustments.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And the way that they'll be adjusted to, like, guys, we've got several different ideas. You'll just have to be patient and see what those look like. But again, please note that the focal point of those adjustments is for you guys, the player, to make it a bit easier to obtain legendaries, even if you are failing rifts, doing them at low lunacies. Like, we still want to have that system in place that brings everybody into the fold to experience that beautiful content known as legendaries, okay? That's why we are going back in there and adjusting it. Cool. All right.
We have El Preto19 from YouTube is asking, is the Ancient Rifts going to be season-based like Diablo 3?
We do not have plans to do seasonal events in EVERSPACE 2. This has been a point of discussion. We don't have the funds, we don't have the resources, we don't have the space, the time, really, to bring that to fruition. Even though I think universally the team thinks that would be really cool. It's just a matter of putting in the effort and the attention that it would deserve. We can't. We don't have the ability to, based on our already massive amount of scale, our vision that we're bringing to fruition for 1.0. It's not something that we are going to do. So I love that concept too. Like, let's be incredibly clear. I think that would be super cool. It might be something that we do in a future project. Maybe even that's a little bit wishy-washy. But EVERSPACE 2 will not have seasons. No. I love that question though. It's a great question. This shot comes from Kazaa and highlighting the new biological wildlife. And this one is at Aethor. This is the planet. And we wanted to make sure, and this is something that I kind of talked about a little bit, where we wanted to diversify the assets that we're presenting from, like, even different planets to make them feel like different planets. So when you're looking at this planet and the screenshots thereof, even though that there are some similarities to the wildlife, as something as like the Athorian Rift, for example, there are some distinctions made, whether it's through coloration, size, etc., of these elements that helps you understand where you're at. And we are very pleased with your results. We love the screenshot, Kazaa. It looks pretty neat. Next shot we've got from Excel. We've got several of them. I also just want to take a quick moment here and address an important element, the elephant in the room, if you will. So, not really an elephant. It's not. Anyway, this is broken. This is not working as intended. All those little orbs. Those are ancients. Here's another view. Gorgeous shots from Excel. I love them so much. Definitely Wrath of the Fallen proccing 100% chance to duplicate ancients. Not intentional. So thank you so much for your bugs, the bug reports that you supply, because this like only applied to this location. There's so many weird factors when bugs happen like this. So thank you, seriously, everyone. When something weird happens, showcase it in its full glory, because we love this. We love this. This is not intentional, and it will be removed. But still, taking advantage of that moment, super, super cool. So thank you for that. We'll also see another couple bugs in the couple following screenshots too. Geekbot, go ahead and give me another question.
Right, next up, we've got one from Herman Jones over on YouTube. Which lunacy in Rifts level roughly corresponds to very hard difficulty outside of Rifts? If you can quantify that, obviously.
So actually that quantification would be about Rift 50. That's going to be your closest point to that, because Rift 50, you have the fewest modifiers being applied to your enemies, and they're going to be mostly at an equal level to what's out in the world. Now, also keep in mind that, of course, the game is not finalized. There will still be additional balancing between the levels of enemies, and you also haven't seen everything from level 25 and up to level 30. So where you're at with Lunacy level 50 and where the game will be is going to look different whenever we reach that 1.0 state. So as of right now, Lunacy 50 is about the most on par with the enemies outside of the Rift. All right, we've got a shot from BW Lambrix. I really appreciate this shot. For a couple of reasons, but the first thing I want to do is I want to highlight the fact that this is not a high resolution shot. When we ask you guys to highlight screenshots from the game and all that type of stuff, you don't have to have like a super crazy computer and be pushing 250 FPS. What are the kids playing these days? I don't know. Your expensive monitors and graphics cards, whatever. Like, you don't have to be doing that. Sometimes you just have to take a really interesting and a really cool shot, which is here. This is a great shot. That explosion, all these light effects pouring out from clearly the destruction of an outlaw destroyer. BW Lambrick, I think that you captured this in all of its glory. Very nice shot, very clean shot. Even without the detail of the ship itself, comes together really well. So thank you for that. I want to recognize that. I love it. Let's answer another question as we look at another take on the... Oh gosh, Kazaa, gosh. Well, I'm not surprised this is Kazaa, because Kazaa has a little bit of a history with his community engagement with us in pertaining to spamming everything 1,000 billion times. All right, perfect. Let's hear the next question.
We've got Gilles Mercier again on YouTube. Just wants to know, are armor drones also present in the rifts?
They are, yes. They can be present, yes. And in fact, we actually encountered one earlier in the stream. There was one that was nearby the outlaw drone carrier. So yeah, they can show up. We adjusted some values for certain enemies spawning though. And I believe that the outlaw armor drone was one of them. Since all types of ships can spawn, if a random outlaw armor drone appears and starts giving benefits to basically everything else that you're facing in the moment, especially when those numbers, the values that the armor drone is now increasing it by, have been significantly ramped up based on your lunacy, it can be a bit jarring if its spawn rate was equal to what's equivalent to Union, for example, where you run into a lot of outlaws in Union. So that has been something of a balancing act for us as well. But they can show up, and when they do, it's got to be your priority target. Just letting you know, you got to bring them down. So yeah, great question. Next shot. This one also comes from Spoot Knight, and his shots, you know, nice sweeping shots with great use of everything. It's a great use of all the things. The colors, the saturation here is quite nice. You know, we have all these blues and grays, very spacey. Love the angle that's being delicately performed on the station. It's almost looking towards the sun amidst this very passive space that desires, it longs for something more. Shots that tell a story, guys. They're like my favorite. Let's hear another question we got as we transition over to a shot from Bradley that's also giving another side of the DMZ and telling its own little story.
All right, Gilles Mercier again has asked, in the rifts, do you have to manually grab the Tears of the Mad with the tractor beam, or are they auto-claimed?
I feel like you have to grab them, because in my specific playthroughs, that's been the case. I don't know what was fully discussed pertaining to Tears of the Mad in our meeting today. Spoiler, it happens at a time in Germany when I am just waking up, so I generally am not able to make certain meetings. But I do know that with the adjustments to Tears of the Mad, we have had conversations in the past about how they would potentially auto-collect as opposed to having to go out and collect them specifically, based on the fact that at the very end of the rift, everything drops, gets sucked through the portal, and you are insured to get it all, right? So having that level of autonomy is something that we do value and do think has a proper effect at certain parts in the game. This is something that we have not come to a conclusion on. I have a feeling that that's the direction we're probably going to move in, but I can't guarantee it. I personally would like it. We'll have to see what we feel is the best fit for the game. And if you guys have thoughts on this, you should also leave a comment or two in the forums so I can link it whenever I'm voicing this case to the team members. But no, sincerely, I think that would be a nice touch, but there are a lot of factors that come into play, and we do have to have these internal discussions to find out what's really is best. So, good question. Good question. I'm being a little cheeky. Sorry about that, team. Somebody's mad at me, I just know it. All right. We have another shot from Kazaa. Remember how I said Kazaa's this guy in the community who likes to spam stuff? Bob! This is... Hello, Bob! Hello! Hello, 1,000 Bobs. Whew. Man. It's super cool, though. It's a great shot utilizing depth of field, utilizing the lighting that's going on. Everything brings this together in an incredibly powerful way. I hate it for all the best reasons. Like, it's fantastic. It's phenomenal. Thank you, Kazaa. Yeah, so we'll keep this one up. We'll get to the next one in a moment. We'll keep that one up. Let's go ahead and answer another question.
Right, we've got one from Venom 4155 on Twitch. On the topic of gamepads, I feel like the DualSense could be very beneficial, especially with adding a use to the touchpad or enabling the haptic triggers. Any plans to utilize those features? They said, I'd love to have the ability to click the touchpad in certain places, maybe in its four corners to activate certain functions, and even swiping the touchpad to do other things.
So from my previous conversations with the team, I don't believe this is going to happen, but let me see if I can find anything else. And Michael, if you've got additional information on that one, I would appreciate the dive in. I know this has been a point of discussion. I also remember complications surrounding it. So that's why I'm on a secret screen trying to see if I can pull up additional information. But I'm not coming up with anything solid here. I know we've talked about this stuff in the past. I thought this would be a lot easier to find. Urgh! What in the world? But in a general sense, a lot of the elements that we are bringing over, ensuring work is the exact same functionalities between that what you would expect from like a PC title to a console title, right? It would absolutely be a benefit to have like DualSense, to have like the haptic use through controller support. I also know, like, man, I really need to find this because it's a great question and I want to be thorough. So Michael, the question, actually Geekbyte, go ahead and read the question off directly to Michael one more time so that...
Certainly will. So on the topic of gamepads, I feel like the DualSense could be very beneficial, especially with adding a use to the touchpad or enabling the haptic triggers. Any plans to utilize those features? Yes. Venom did give examples of how we prefer them to be used.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know that we've talked about this. Goodness gravy. Maybe it was much longer in the past than I thought it was. Still trying to find anything. My quick question list didn't have it on there. Guess I need to add it to the list. Woo! Ooh, sorry. So, okay, Michael says specifically, he says, we'll share more details about DualSense support when we announce the console release date. Okay, thank you, Michael, for that sound response. That is incredibly denying a full... It's great, it's great. We'll have more information for console stuff like DualSense support and everything in the future. So, gosh. Man, what a wild ride some of these questions can be. All right, let's move on to our next one. Oh, I closed my fan art folder. Hang on a second. Okay, everything's back up and alive. This one comes from Kazal. I love this one. We got a reflect game going on. Legitimately, when your beams hit a reflection shield and they hit a reflection shield, it just keeps going back and forth. That is not a bug. That is entirely intended, and it looks amazing. Also, big shout out to your color scheme here in matching the freaking retaliators like dang near perfectly. That just adds to this. If only the beams were blue, that would make this perfect, but still, I'll allow it. Really nice. Really nice. Michael also says, frankly speaking, we haven't even looked into DualSense support yet. While that statement is true, I do know, sincerely, I do know that we have had internal conversations, at least I have, at least with one or two team members, about the concept, about the implementation of DualSense. So, yeah, we'll just have to get there. We'll have to see what that looks like in the future, and we'll make those announcements accordingly. So thank you for that additional added clarity, Michael. I don't think we've had the meeting about like what that's going to look like if we were to pursue it, you know. So cool stuff. All right, we're going to jump over to another image once again because we are running low on time. Actually, we're going to go through a couple more and then we'll answer maybe a few more questions. We've got this one from Highbarf highlighting this massive shield around the Okar when you first meet them for a mission for the Mokar side quest, I think. The Mokar, the mocking, whatever, that one. We got Highbarf, who's flexing a formation run with these GMB light fighters. Definitely enjoy that. Very nice, very nice. We got T3 Cube, who's highlighting a shield disrupted colonial fleet cruiser, which is always fun to see. I liked this one because of how much it stands out from a lot of the other components within EVERSPACE 2. Like, you almost have to like double back on this one and confirm that it's actually from EVERSPACE 2. It feels like it's almost from a different game. That's why this one I chose and felt like it stood out. We have this one from Chemical Bro, which is, that's a sexy shot. Let's be clear. That is gorgeous. That gets you going. I just want to take this ship for a spin, see what its potential looks like. That is enticing. I love that shot. Let's get another question as we look at Drive Live's photo of flying into open space in a very pleasant scene.
All right, the last one I've got currently from Nikolai Petkov on YouTube. I want to know, do you consider making some hidden systems that contain unique weapons like in Freelancer?
So that is, wow, that's so particular. So I'm not stalling because the answer is yes. The answer is no. We're not planning on doing that. But like, man, comparing to Freelancer on that front, on that specific level, I think is, I think that's a false comparison. At best, we might have some specialized equipment that you can earn by completing a specific challenge or a side mission, stuff like that. But having a completely hidden system when we have 6 planned for full release, that is, that might be unintentionally content gating our players based on a level of attempted exploration for hidden content that we simply don't want to do that. When Freelancer came out, it was far more applicable to have secrets within games because the information age wasn't as ripe and ready with all of those secrets being discussed in very easy channels of active communication. Like, your main source of engagement on that front was generally like a resource guide. Like, you would have a strategy book in order to figure out where stuff was at if you wanted to go that direction. And you know, the scope and scale that Freelancer was at and what it could provide and the funding for it, I think that was far more applicable to have a little secret like that that's just playful, just one little additional space in a game that already has like hundreds of locations that you can go to. That kind of makes sense, where you could just plug in an extra one. But for us, that would be, that's a lot. That's a really big ask, and I want to make sure that you understand the comparison. Like that's not something we can afford to do, and we also don't want to accidentally, you know, hurt the player base for something that we feel like should just be found in the game anyway. So, not that secrets don't exist, but that's besides the point. All right, I hope that's a fluid enough response there. Yeah. So this screenshot, that was all the questions, right, Geekbite, for the moment at least?
Yep, we're all done. All
okay,
done.
Cool. So I wanted to highlight this screenshot from Highbarf because, is this Highbarf? Yeah, this is Highbarf. Because this just showcases how far along we've come in terms of UX, which we talked a lot about last week, in terms of UI, which we talked a lot about last week. Wow. Like, the night and day difference to what the current EVERSPACE 2 visualization for the player looks like. All of that loot, the information pertaining to your thrusters, your weapons, your hull, like even your devices in the lower left, your weaponry. Oh, goodness, how's this changed so freaking much. Just a great little flashback. So thank you for providing that shot, Highbarf. Really appreciate that. We just got a couple more screenshots and then I got to get out of here. So thank you for sharing that. We've got Spoot Knight, very clever shot. I want to just kind of move over to give that full embrace. I think there was also somebody who said to turn it vertically, and it still absolutely looks fantastic. Yes, it still works. Beautiful, beautiful shot. Doesn't matter how you position it. It's great. Even like this, like, oh my gosh, like, you can't go wrong. It looks great. It just looks phenomenal. So nice job. Very nice. And that also, this is a GMB fighter. That's not the player ship. Is it the player? No, that's a GMB fighter. I had to do a double take. Player ship's over here. There it is. There you are, you sneaky little devil. I see you. You're a scout. Great work. Great shot. All right, we got 2 more to go, and then I got to get out of here. We got one from Dark Chaos. I love these sweeping landscapes that he always provides with such clarity and detail. We zoom in here and we see all those elements. So I feel like this is like a panoramic shot you would see in like National Geographic, right? It's like panning over. And you just hear like over the comms like, the notorious mud dabber ice queen lives amongst the draconian systems. You know, whatever that happens, you know, it just, I love this. I love how this comes together. It's great. It's so great. All those details. I want it to be like this panoramic that's accessible, like on the wiki. Make it happen, Grendel. Just do it. It's super easy, right? Just push a button, make it happen. Great shot. And then last but not least, we got another one from Chemical Bro, utilizing that metallic reflection in all its glory, highlighting those colors, the expressions thereof. Glorious saturation of oranges to be found on the ship, as well as a desaturated adventure to see what's beyond, with light gazing across the stars. I love it. I love it so much. Eric Attenborough, oh my gosh. Ridiculous. All right, guys, but that concludes the stream. I am gonna go ahead and throw the trailer that was shown last week again, just because it's fun, it's awesome. The experimental will still be live for a little bit longer, okay? That's the last big point I should mention, because generally speaking, we go with the experimental about a week. Yes, we need a little more time. Because 2 reasons, we got to do this right. This is the last big update before the 1.0 release. This is the last big update before the 1.0 release. We've got to ensure that when we deliver this, that individuals walking into the early access experience are able to provide as much feedback as possible that's relevant, that's going to be good, that's going to be pure, that's going to be enjoyable for waiting for that final release. And we have to take a little bit of additional time to ensure we're nailing these bugs to the floor and we are solidifying the content that which you can enjoy. So there will be a couple more additions as we've kind of shown through the course of the stream. Lots of balances, fixes, all that stuff galore. And I hope that you guys are looking forward to it. So thank you for your patience as we take just a little bit longer to plop that update down and let the floodgates open. All right, guys, you have been so freaking awesome today. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for watching me get absolutely annihilated at Lunacy 1000. The difficulty might even increase further because we want to tweak things. Don't stop being awesome, and I won't stop being Eric Schrader, your community ambassador for ROCKFISH Games. All things EVERSPACE 2, blah, 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 happiness, energy. It's great. Go have a wonderful weekend. Give us more feedback that you're discovering, and we will give you a very nicely polished update very, very soon. Toodles! Is this? I look at the chat and see got annihilated at 300. What? Are you talking about me? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I felt like that was a pretty decent run for not optimizing a build. Oh my gosh, you guys are a bunch of savages. You guys are a bunch of, you want me to beatbox? Oh my gosh. I never prepare for this, bearded frog. Oh my goodness. Man, we'll do beatboxing next week, okay? That'll be our shenanigans after the stream next week. Tonight, I gotta go. But sincerely, I do want to reiterate this because I feel like we have to communicate it more frequently than not. I don't want this to blindside anyone, okay? When we get to the 1.0 release, the price point for EVERSPACE 2 is going up, okay? The price point for EVERSPACE 2 will increase, all right? So, if you are looking to purchase EVERSPACE 2 at an affordable price point, the best way to go about that is by wish listing us, waiting for a sale, and then purchasing it from there, okay? Also note, when you wish list us, that just increases the exposure for us, also for you. It makes it a happy little, everything's great. You get all the details on what's going on. Other people are enticed to look at our title through you, so thank you for those wish lists. It really makes a big difference. Also want to point out, if you have been enjoying the experimental, if you have been enjoying the early access and you haven't left a review yet, generally speaking, we want the reviews to reflect the 1.0 experience. However, if you do have a lot to say that you believe could bring more into the mix, let the people know. Drop your information down. It's great. It's fantastic. And if you ever have any additional concern, question, comment, suggestion, anything like that, bring it to the forums. Come meet me on the Discord. We're always there for you. That's literally our job. We have to, that's why we're so transparent. So, okay, so much to talk. All these details, but yeah, know it, embrace it. Thank you so much for your love and your energy. We'll catch you next week. I gotta get out. I gotta get out here. Toodles, guys. Goodbye. Have a great weekend. Have a phenomenal weekend. Oh, I said we're gonna end with the trailer. Here's the trailer. One more time, and then we're gonna go raid Corbin, I think, over on Twitch. Here we go.
We're gonna get it set up.
Awesome, thanks. Trailer now.